Now, civil servants in England are being urged by the government to return to work in their offices. In a letter seen by the BBC, the government wants 80% of civil servants to be back at their workplace at least once a week by the end of the month. Unions, though, have described the government's attitude as outdated. Our political correspondent Chris Mason has more.
Usually vibrant, bustling, dynamic, and yet for much of the last 6 months, many of our city centres have looked like this. It's time for that to change, says the government. The head of the civil service, Sir Mark Sedwill, says the Prime Minister believes increasing both the number of people in the office and the amount of time those people spend in the office will be hugely beneficial for our workforce. This is Whitehall, home to loads of government departments. It's actually relatively busy here today, but still pretty quiet on weekdays. The government wants 4 in 5 civil servants in England to be back at their desks for at least some of the week by the end of this month, with more and more people worrying that unless public and private sector workers return to the office, there could be huge economic consequences.
If we don't see those workers coming back until the new year, and workers are a big driver of footfall overall in city centres, particularly on a Monday to Friday, then we might see a huge wave of closures and a huge wave of redundancies as a result.
But some believe changes in where many people have worked in recent months will be permanent.
What the government are doing are virtue signalling, using the civil service, not because it's a more efficient way of operating, but because they want to send a signal to the private sector. You know, they're dreaming about a world of work that has, quite frankly, gone.
In Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland, the message is still to work from home if you can. But in England, the government is hoping that more people can be persuaded back to their workplace.
Well, Chris joins us now, as you can see. Chris, new developments tonight which show just how high the stakes are now.
Yeah, I think it's worth thinking of it as the 3 challenges that the government faces this autumn. Firstly, trying to tiptoe back towards something resembling normality, such as returning to workplaces. Secondly, the imminent end of the furlough scheme. This is this huge scheme into which the government has ploughed a huge amount of money. Taxpayers subsidising the wages of millions of people. That is due to end at the end of next month, and the boss of the employers' organisation, the CBI, Dame Carolyn Fairbairn, has said that that's a real concern, that she thinks that whilst it has been an absolute lifesaver, this scheme, that it needs to continue in some form. Ministers have been adamant it does need to wind down. They do point out to other support packages that they're offering. And then thirdly, Brexit. We talked about it, didn't we, endlessly for so long. It's not really made much news in the last 6 months for obvious reasons. We left the European Union, of course, at the beginning of February, but we're still in a transition period, which basically means not a lot has changed. Can a long-term deal be done between the UK and the EU by the end of this year? Plenty of businesses, particularly big businesses, very keen to see that happen. Tonight, the government's chief Brexit negotiator, Lord Frost, has done an interview in tomorrow's Mail on Sunday. Very interesting, very striking language ahead of the next round of negotiations happening on Tuesday. We are not going to be a client state, he says. We are not going to accept provisions that lock us into the way that the EU do things. The UK intends to be a sovereign, independent nation. There are still big sticking points on things like fishing quotas and also on the terms of how a trade deal between the UK and the EU might work. So whether it be responses to the pandemic or trying to secure a Brexit deal, the stakes could not be higher this autumn.
Indeed, Chris, thank you.